What's going on, guys? It's Unknown Player here, and today I've got for you guys a super quick guide on how to get the new exotic Khvostov. It can only be obtained through its own exotic quest, which has a few parts to it which can be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to be going over exactly how to get it and as fast as possible, and also things you need to do for this quest. So firstly, in order to begin the quest, you can do one of two things. You can either dismantle your first ever Khvostov that you get, the original white one if you have that, if you've been playing since vanilla, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. Of course you want to keep it for like nostalgic purposes, and I definitely will not be dismantling mine. There is a much easier way, and alternatively you can begin the quest simply from getting it from a chest in the Plaguelands. So of course you want to load into Plaguelands Patrol. Now what you need is a Splicer Intel Relay. This is going to unlock a door which allows you to get to the location where the chest is found. So these relays are found from a lot of the Hive mages, people like Brood Mothers and Brood Enforcers. They're pretty easy to find, and one of the Brood Mothers, in fact, will actually spawn exactly where you start off in Plaguelands Patrol, and of course they have a chance to drop these Intel Relays and also Splicer Keys. So eventually, once you get an Intel Relay, you need to head from that spawn area to the snowy version of the Cosmodrome, and all the way over to that first ever area where the ghost revives you next to the wall. At some point, you're going to need to use that Intel Relay on a laser door to unlock the path for you. Once you get over to here, you need to find the catch and go to the very back of it. There might be a few enemies in there, but the very back will hold a chest, and that will drop you the beginning of the Khvostov quest. So once you have the schematic, you need to head over to Felwinter Peak and speak to Shiro 4. He's going to be your main quest giver for the Khvostov. So now he's going to task you to find manual pages and also Khvostov parts in Patrol in the Plaguelands. So what you want to do is head over to that snowy Cosmodrome area once again, and the first location is towards the 7X Prime Strike, so head all the way through the Rocket Yard and towards the 7X Prime Strike. So in the room just beyond where you normally do the 3 waves of enemies in the 7X Prime Strike, and you need to decode the lasers, the room just beyond that, you'll find the parts just on the floor. When you get close, you'll see an icon pop up, and it will signify where you need to pick them up, which is pretty simple. And then once you pick that up, you simply go further into the strike, where you fight the Devil Walker, and just in front of this building, you'll find the second part. So for the third and final weapon part, you want to head all the way back through the Cosmodrome to where you began, and this time through the divide, take a left. You want to keep going all the way through to Dock 13, that same spot where you fight Rixus, the first ever boss fight, and of course you want to pick up the final weapon part. So in addition to those, you also need 10 Khvostov weapon pages, and these are pretty simple to obtain. You get them just from killing enemies in the Plaguelands, so make sure you kill a bunch of mages, do public events, patrol missions and beacons, and eventually 10 of them will drop for you. They're relatively simple. I'd suggest grinding something like Archon's Forge is a good way of getting them, the Brood Mothers, but just general enemies, the higher tier ones tend to have a great chance of dropping them. But eventually you'll get your 10 pages, and then you want to head back to Shiro 4 in Felwinter Peak. So he's going to give you the final part of the mission, and this is like a nostalgic trip through the Cosmodrome with your ghost, tackling a little bit of the Fallen. The mission itself is quite self-explanatory. You need to chase through this captain who's a massive bullet sponge. You'll chase him quite a bit through the actual Cosmodrome, and eventually when you defeat him, you'll get given the Khvostov itself. And thankfully, a lot of its perks are already unlocked. It's got a complete top row, which are quite interesting, not a very good set in terms of stability, but definitely usable, and it's a cool platform to actually try out the weapon, and they kind of throw a bunch of enemies at you for you to test it out. So really cool, you can do that. There's a lot more nostalgia with the ghost as well. So there it is, that is your Khvostov already given to you with the top node already unlocked, which is pretty nice. Of course, you need to get more XP to unlock the further nodes and get even more perks to be able to customize it. But it's one of the most customizable weapons in Destiny, so a lot of builds you can have with it. I'm definitely looking forward to trying this thing out. So let me know in the comment section if you've got yours yet and what you think of it. If you found this video helpful, then drop a like rating, I'd massively appreciate that. And of course, look out for a ton more Rise of Iron videos right here on the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.